Hello, in this video, I'm going to show you how you can grant access to another user to Google Tag Manager. We're going to go over a couple of different ways to do it, but I'm going to start with our recommended way so you can have that up front. In Google Tag Manager, we recommend that you grant anybody access to the admin level of the account. It just makes things a lot smoother and a lot easier than trying to mess with different container permissions and going back and forth over permissioning issues. So to do that, you're going to be on your workspace homepage. You're going to be on your Google Tag Manager homepage here. Click on the admin tab and go user management at the account level. There's two different levels in Google Tag Manager. There's account and container. You want the account level. You're going to go user management, click the plus sign, add user, and you're going to enter in the name. I'll use my test account like so. Good. All right. Now, granting them user access does nothing. They won't have access to anything if you only grant them user access at the account level. I don't even know why Google lets you do that. You have to at least grant some user access to different container permissions. But what we recommend is just to grant administrator access. It makes things smoother, and you don't go back and forth over permissions. So you'll select administrator like this, and you can also select all of these and click publish, but it won't matter if they're an administrator. They can select their own permissions to the containers. That's why we recommend doing it, because it's easier. And then you click invite, and that's it. And you'll see that their invite is pending. You can remove them, of course, by removing access here like that. Okay, cool. So that's how you would grant admin access at the account level to Google Tag Manager. So if that's what you wanted to do, you're done. You don't have to watch any more of this video. If you want to grant more granular permissions, I'll show you how to do that now. So I'll go ahead and remove this access like here. Great. All right. And now I'm going to add the user. So let's say I wanted to add this user test, my test email. I didn't want to make them an administrator at the account level, right? I want them to be a user. Well, like I said earlier, granting them user permissions at the account level doesn't let them see anything. All they can see is that you have an account in Google Tag Manager. They don't have access to any of your containers here. You may only have one container, you may have multiple containers, right? But if you grant a user user level access at the account level, they can't see any of your containers. They can't grant themselves access to see any containers, so they can't do anything for you. They can't help you at all. So there's no point in doing that. What you want to do is set the container permission. Now you can set all, so you can say, hey, I want them to have publish access to all containers. So you can do that. So what's the difference between that and admin access at the account level? The admin access at the account level would have the ability to update their own permissions and also add additional users, right? If you grant them publish permission on all of your containers, they can do everything that they can do with the container. They just can't add additional users. That's the only difference there. Okay, cool. So that's how to do it there. If you wanted to grant individual access to an individual container, you can of course select on the single container you want, and you can select any of the permission levels here. Let's talk about these permission levels. Publish means they can make actual changes to the container and publish them live. They can make them live. Approve means that they can make changes and create container versions that you can then go and publish live. Generally, we just recommend publish permissions if you're granting someone access. But if someone wants to do an audit, or you want a single person to have approval over purchases or over publishing, you can do that with the approve option here. Edit lets you edit tags and variables, but you can't create versions. I don't really see a strong reason to do that. I think it's often helpful to create versions. So I don't see any really good reason to grant somebody edit access and not approve access, but you may see that. And then there's read access. This means that the user can come in and they can see what's in Google Tag Manager, but they can't do anything else. They can't make any changes. I really don't recommend that because unfortunately in read, you cannot put Google Tag Manager in preview mode. And preview mode, if you've used Google Tag Manager a lot, you know that's really the only way to see what's going on with your container. So read permissions might be okay for a very quick check of what's in the container, but it won't help a consultant or a user or anybody debug what's happening on your site with your container. For that, they need to be able to put it in preview mode. So you should at least grant them approve access so they can create versions. Approve sounds kind of weird, kind of makes it sound like they're approving changes, but they're actually just making versions and you would go and approve it. That is our recommendations there. To sum up, make sure that you don't just grant user access at the account level. Make sure that you select, if you don't want to grant admin access at the account level, make sure that you select the containers or all containers that you want. Probably don't just give them read access. Give them at least approve access. Oftentimes, publish is the way to go on an individual or all containers. To do that, you just select what you want, select the containers, great. And you can see here now it says the user has these permissions on all of them, and I just click invite over here. And again, of course, it's going to put their invitation pending as a user. Cool. Let me know if you have any questions about that, and thanks for watching.